Did you know that St. Luke's University Health Network, based in the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, has been recognized by the U.S. government as the highest performing health system in the United States for quality? You heard right. St. Luke's #1 recognition affirms our status as the top leader among the most respected healthcare providers in the nation, including Houston Methodist and the Mayo Clinic. To state it simply, if you want to receive the best care when you go to a hospital, come to St. Luke's.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi!
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Carlos, did you watch the march over the weekend? Say what? What did march? You watch the? Huh?
What march?
Oh, you don't know. Where's Philip? Philip, did you watch the march over the weekend?
What march?
Hold on. TJ, did you watch the march over the weekend? What march? You people. We had one of the biggest civil rights marches since the 1960s over the weekend. A whole bunch of liberals went down to Selma, Alabama, where the original the big march at the bridge where John Lewis and civil rights protesters were beaten up by white Democrat cops, and they wanted to recreate the moment again. They've done it before, but they wanted another march. So they held a big march in Selma, and then they went to Montgomery, Alabama, and they talked about how Republicans are stripping their right to vote, and we're going to overcome. We will overcome again and again, and we overcame, but we're going to overcome again. And you didn't watch the march. It was a milestone in civil rights history. It was the reignition of a movement to help the oppressed lift the shackles that had been placed on them, to tear apart the chains of Republican oppression, to stand up and take a firm stand for liberty and for justice. It was a march for the ages. It was a march for freedom, for liberty. It was a march to declare once and for all that even though we have overcome, it wasn't enough come. And we're going to overcome again and keep coming until we overcome finally once and for all with the biggest overcome of history. And you weren't watching it. I'll be darned. Man. Bill Cassidy lost over the weekend, too. Let's listen to Bill We're going to have some overcome. For those of you that missed the overcome, in Selma this weekend, we have some overcome for you. So we'll delve into that so you can be up to speed. Bill Cassidy lost. He gave a concession speech. And that's cut two. And I think his concession speech exactly illustrates why. Let's listen to a part.
I've been able to participate in democracy.
And when you participate in
democracy, sometimes it doesn't turn out the way you want it to. But you don't pout, you don't whine, you don't claim that election was stolen, you don't find a reason why. You don't manufacture some excuse. You thank the voters for the privilege of representing the state or the country for as long as you've had that privilege. And that's what I'm doing right now.
I've had the privilege of being part of democracy. And when you lose, you don't say, well, the election was stolen from me by Democrats. Yeah! hey, even though the election was stolen by Democrats, we moderates, we rhinos don't care about any of that. All we care is about being friends with our TDS bunnies. Who hate Trump, and I hate him too. I've hated Donald Trump from the beginning. And so I'm not going to sit here and say the election was stolen, because I can't. Because I know the people in my state really, how bad was it? It was bad. The people of Louisiana spoke, and they participated in democracy too. And the people let's listen. I know what we can do. Y'all want to hear how bad it was for old Bill Cassidy? Well, here's what we can do. We can check in with that fella from CNN, that Harry fella that always talks about the numbers. And let me tell you how bad it was for Bill Cassidy participating in democracy in Louisiana over the weekend.
Back. And this is sort of just going back through the archives to see how bad Bill Cassidy did. He got 25% of the vote, okay? I went back and I looked at every single non-appointed senator. This, in my mind, was the worst primary showing ever, at least since the end of World War II. That is how badly Bill Cassidy did. He did worse than every single one, getting 25% of the vote for a senator in a primary. It's literally unheard of, and that is because, of course, Donald Trump endorsed against this guy.
Look, if you can find a different case of this, Harry looked at every single one and thinks it's the worst, send us. Send it. Yeah, tweet us. Tweet us. Is Twitter still a thing? I don't know.
You're Xing us, I guess.
In any case, so President Trump endorsed an opponent here. How does President Trump do in general when he endorses a Republican primary?
We've quoted the movie Good Burger every single time, basically, when we've done this. When, in fact, you go against President Trump, you go in the grinder, and you could just see this. Times Trump endorsees have won in GOP primaries. It's about 95% each of the last 4 cycles. Now, I will note, sometimes he endorses and there's no real challenger. But even in those cases, the challengers to the incumbent have won a majority of the time as well. And one of the key reasons why that is right is you look at Trump's approval rating within the GOP, 21st century own party approval. At this point in term 2, he's still at 83%. That's more popular than Obama was with Democrats, way more popular than George W. Bush was with Republicans back in 2006. So the power of a Trump endorsement is still sky high, and we'll see tomorrow if that happens with
Thomas Massey, who's up for a vote today. Now, folks, don't expect Massey to go down as hard. And you had, by the way, Trump called out that young woman, Lorraine Boebert, out of Colorado, who was campaigning with Massey. And there have been a few others. Rand Paul was campaigning with him. So, but he definitely, Donald Trump over the weekend called for a primary challenger to step forward for Boebert's seat. I hope the primary challenger comes out of a movie house somewhere with sticky fingers. James Golden Snerdley. James Golden Snerdley coming back shortly. Do not go away, please. Please, please, we beg you. Please don't go.
Get ready, Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Very Hawks baseball.
Tuesday, May 19th at 10:30 a.m., it's morning baseball. Wednesday, May 20th at 6:30 p.m., have a pawsome time at Bark in the Park. Thursday, May 21st at 6:30, it's Pride Night with $5 Bud or Bud Light draft beer. Individual game tickets start at just $12.
Visit VeryHawks.com now to lock in your seats.